Hey, everybody, this is Fred Diamond from the Institute for Effective Professional Selling, and it's a sales game changers podcast. Rebecca, Mark, Craig, we've done over 850 sales game changers podcasts. You can watch the show on YouTube. If you are, please give us a thumbs up. If you're listening on Apple, give us a 5-star review. And we're very, very excited today because we're going to be talking about the new Partner Revenue Academy, which the IEPS is launching on September 11th. It's going to be a 6-session program designed for partner account managers at OEMs, also designed for partners. The whole purpose is to make a shift from what partner account managers have historically done to what they need to be doing as what we like to call partner revenue architects, a term that was coined by Craig Booth with Channel 4. So I'm very excited. I have the faculty with us today for the first ever Partner Revenue Academy cohort. Again, it's going to be a 6-session program kicking off on September 11th. It's going to be virtual, but we're also going to be having a live portion for people in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. All right, so the faculty again, Rebecca Wetherly, Marc Palombo, Craig Booth, and Rebecca, you've been on the Sales Game Changers podcast a couple of times. Craig Booth, you were on recently with Pam Johansson, and Mark, even though I've known you the longest out of everybody here, this is your first appearance on the Sales Game Changers podcast. All right. So before we get into details about the program, let's kind of talk about the state of the partner account manager. And again, we're doing today's interview in August of 2026. And the program, the Partner Revenue Academy, is kicking off September 11th. Rebecca Wetherly, you had a great career. You, by the way, were a IEPS Partner of the Year in 2024, and you're a tremendous supporter of many of our programs, including, of course, our Women in Sales leadership program. And you've led partnership relations at AWS and Dell, and you're extremely well known in the industry. Where are we today? August 2026. What's the state of partnering?
Yeah, great to be with you guys today. I'm excited about this Partner Revenue Academy with Mark, Craig, and yourself. And as you said, I think what's super exciting is that this role of the partner account manager is both pivotal and critical, and certainly complex. You don't Not only do you need to understand your partner, your customer, and your company, but you have to understand programs that help create value for partners, investments to leverage sales, as well as lots of complicated customer industries. You need to decipher which partners to work with in specific accounts, what partner to partner mechanisms exist for mission outcomes, and you also need to know what partners are committed to you and your company. And with all of this complexity, Fred, there's just little to no training offered. There's on-the-job training, there's mentoring, and that's what most partner professionals have to lean into. And today, I think many companies are shifting partner roles from partner development to partner account management. And along with that will come sales targets, quota responsibility, and the real responsibility to generate new revenue. I think something to consider. Canalys projected that partner delivered IT will account for roughly 70% of worldwide IT spending last year, right? So in 2025, 70% of worldwide IT comes through a partner. That makes the channel the primary go-to market motion across enterprise technology. They also project continued double-digit growth in partner-delivered managed services and the rapid expansion of software supporting channel operations through 2028. This is super critical to consider as your partners will drive consumption of software, hardware, and cloud, but they're also going to reap the benefits of managed services, AI services, consulting services, security services, which are all core to their P&L. You're going to need to understand what behaviors drive your partners and their willingness to engage and lead a deal.
Yeah, that's great. And you're going to be kicking off the session on September 11th. So we're going to swing back to you in a second to talk a
Yeah.
little more about what you're going to be focused on. Now, Craig Booth, Channel Force, uh, a couple of months ago, back in early 2026, one of our IEPS great partners said partner account managers are way off right now. They're doing the wrong things. They're not focused on what their companies, the OEMs, need them to be doing. Fortuitously, we've known Pam Johansson for a long time. She's been a good friend of the IEPS, and she reached out and said, "You need to meet this guy, Craig Booth, who's doing a lot of really smart thinking on shifting partner account managers to your term, partner revenue architect." And I'm excited that you're going to be a big part of the curriculum and the instruction moving forward. So, where are we, and what led you to shift your thinking or to make your thinking more well known about this transformation that needs to occur?
Yeah, and by the way, Fred, thank you so much. I'm really excited about being part of the academy here. Obviously, working with amazing people like Rebecca, who you just heard. I don't even know how to follow up with after that. So with Rebecca and Marc, I've learned a lot from Marc as well. So I think you've got a really good cast to help create the vision for this program and to carry it forward. Answering your question, what is it that sort of drove me to sort of think through how things are operating? I came from a sales background. I never understood why some of the metrics that we see in partnering, why we accept those metrics, like the 80-20 rule. Why is it that 20% of our partners or less are driving a majority of the revenue? Why is it we have all these long tail partners? Less than 5% of the partner ecosystem of sellers will actually do anything to proactively position our products and services. So this is what's really killing the channel. It's killing what we're actually doing from a performance standpoint. So you have a lot of underperforming as it relates to the potential of the partner program. You have a lot of underperforming partner programs. So the shift for me is all about how do we create 5x more active sellers? How do we literally take and move the metric of production from the partnering and measuring at the partnering level and move it down to active sellers and account engagement? And then how do we resource and structure that active seller to be efficient and effective at positioning and selling both a joint sales strategy? So what I'll be covering and what we'll be going through quite a bit is this shift from partnering to creating active sellers, and then how do we equip those active sellers to be highly productive and efficient? Because we all know profitable, efficient growth is what is the key metric that every CFO is looking at, and our channels and our partner programs have to start aligning to efficiency and efficiency metrics. So
Absolutely. And we'll get into some details here about part of the curriculum that you're going to be involved with and instructing. Marc Palombo, I've known you for probably close to 20 years now. You may need to come off of mute to answer my next question, but what do you see right now? Again, you've worked in the manufacturing side, the OEM side. You also, of course, have worked with many partners around the globe. You're one of the guys that I call when I have a question. So I'm excited to have you part of this curriculum. Where do you see the partner community right now?
And just reiterating what both Rebecca and Craig said. So thanks so much, Fred, for putting this on. I think this has really been a long time coming. I think, as Rebecca said, I agree with her. There's a lot of inexperience. Unfortunately, see the next generation of partner managers and leaders coming out of the woodwork, but they don't have enough folks mentoring and coaching and training them, and enough formal training programs like we're doing with the IEPS here for the Partner Revenue Academy to really get people knowledgeable about what works and what doesn't work. I also love Craig's methodology on KPIs and measured performance metrics, deliverables, targets, revenue targets. All of these things are critical. And I think what you see today in the partner channel, what I see day in and day out, is a lot of confusion. So in addition to the folks that are inexperienced, not really knowing what to do, is the old saying of fake it till you make it. Sorry, you can't do that anymore, especially in the age of AI. You've really got to know, if you're going to train your AI models, be sure you know the things you're training them on, if they're accurate and getting the results you need. But, I didn't hear too much of what's being kind of happening in the market around hyperscalers. So you're seeing a lot of push towards AWS, towards Azure Marketplace, towards GCP. And what I tell a lot of folks that I work with is either you're in the stadium or you're tailgating in the parking lot. So I think having these partner managers understand that over $800 billion are being sold now in the marketplace today. And if you're not actively engaging those marketplaces and you know how to co-sell, co-market effectively, you're going to fail. So I think we need to talk about some of that. I also look at, there's so much confusion. There's just more and more technology vendors coming to the market. There's thousands of vendors. So whether you're on the ISV side of the equation or the partner side of the equation, who's managing that? Who is saying, hey, this new partner we just signed up, what are the key metric for success? We're at a point 12 months from now. Was this a good partnership? Was it a bad partnership? Was it a partnership we should never have signed in the first place? We have to really analyze and understand that. And then I think last but not least, I'll talk about this when you come back to me about, things I'll be covering in the course. But I think partner marketing is a huge area that has fallen by the wayside. I know as a former marketer yourself, I see thousands, if not millions of dollars being spent on direct marketing with maybe a 2 to 3% direct conversion revenue. And then you look at partner marketing and you can get conversions of 30 to 40% because these are the people that are the trusted advisors to a very large customer base. So why would you not spend more money on partner marketing? So those are some of the things that I think about from a planning perspective, things I see that are lacking in the marketplace today.
Wow. So as people are listening to this, we'll definitely attest to, we're going to get deep into what really needs to happen. Again, we're going to be kicking off September 11th. We're going to go through 6 sessions that are going to culminate on November 20th. Each session is going to be virtual, so you can be participating from anywhere in the world, for that matter. And if you're in the local DC, Reston, Virginia area, Northern Virginia, well, we're going to have some type of in person as well. So, Rebecca, I'm very excited that you're going to be kicking this off on September 11th. We'll introduce people and then we're going to get right to it. And by the way, for the people who are going to be participating, we're going to have a bunch of online support, meaning that we'll ask you, tell us what you do, where do you work, so that our faculty members will know about you. We're not going to be spending half an hour every session introducing yourself to our participants and the faculty. We're going to get that all handled. So we're going to get right to it where we start at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So Rebecca, you're going to be kicking off session number 1. I'm very excited. Give us a little bit of a peek into some of the things that you're planning on covering.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm excited to kick things off, Fred. And I love, by the way, Marc, what you just said about marketplace and like brand new avenues that folks may not have considered because they're massive opportunities and channel light in terms of friction, which, all partners love. So I'm just thrilled you're covering that. Listen, I'm hopefully going to be the hype girl that gets everybody totally psyched and feeling like you're part of a cohort. I want to create openness and camaraderie that you're going to expect to have with your cohort colleagues. I have worked in the trenches from partner marketing to partner development to partner sales, account management, and executive leadership. As Fred mentioned, I've been at Dell. I was at a company called Silicon Graphics way long ago. And I most recently left AWS after 13 and a half years leading a large part of the consulting partner business. I've done it. I've been there with you. So I am going to plan to share my top tips for partner sales and encourage you to think about working with a customer first mindset. And this is going to include considering your partner as a customer as well as their end customers. I'm going to lean into the why, right? Which stems from, are you making sure that you're not just selling products and solutions, that you clearly understand the mission that you're serving? Speeds, feeds, product offerings are not good enough to position. You have to know what the mission is for your customer and why and how your offering is important. As I shared earlier, partner sales roles is super complicated. I think it's the most complicated out there, and you have to be a jack of many trades. You're critical to the sales process and need to always be demonstrating value to partners and colleagues. That's a difference. Driving revenue and creating meaningful pipeline growth has never been more important. Shifting your mental models about and how you are leveraging AI to create real business value and lessons from the experiences we all share is what you're going to learn in the program. And you have the opportunity and the responsibility to put these lessons into action during the program. So I'm going to get us started, lay the foundation, and get you guys totally ready for the next 5 sessions that will go from there and really helping prepare you for great success in your career.
That is great. And that's actually the attitude. Again, I love the idea that you're talking about, which is our cohort. And at the IEPS, we've been doing cohorts for nearly a decade right now. And for people who are looking forward to participating, we're going to have people from multiple companies and complementary companies. And one of the great things is you build those relationships as well. May suit you today, may suit you in 2 to 3 or 5 years, whatever it might be. But that's going to be one of the things. And eventually, we're going to be building a strong community. So, Craig Booth, Rebecca's going to be teeing up what you're going to be getting down and dirty into the whole concept of shifting from what we used to think partner account managers were, that is no longer valid, as Rebecca very well said, to the concept of being a partner revenue architect to help design predictable revenue systems, to create repeatable revenue systems that will help your company achieve its goal, be able to forecast where it's going. And like you mentioned before, and as Marc touched on, identifying the partners who really have the skills to help your company grow and to help them grow. So you're going to be handling sessions 2 and 3. Why don't you give us a little bit of a peek into what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, so I think the very first thing, and Rebecca did a great job of teeing this up again, but the concept here is really, shifting thinking, right? We've all learned one way to run our partner programs. We've run with, you know, I call it sprinting through the 50-meter mark, when the real race is running all the way through the 100-meter mark. So we've learned how to recruit partners, onboard, enable partners, get partners compliant to our partner program. Where the struggle has always been is, how do I take those partners and activate those partners at the seller and account level to actually drive push into the market in a structured way and in a repeatable way that's scalable. So what we're going to talk about first is, how do we shift the mindset from where you are as a traditional partner account manager, which I think is really important. We still need trust. We still need the foundational principles that a partner account manager will traditionally operate in, but we've got to add to that. We've got to get people thinking about their job as literally a partner revenue architect who's responsible for leveraging data and AI to help generate better revenue for their partners downstream. So we're going to talk about the principles that sort of shift around that. The first session, we're going to go into something called structured performance partnering. And structured performance partnering is essentially, we're going to teach you how to plan revenue, build a production process with a coverage model associated with that. We're going to teach you how to execute a strategy and how to enable partners using a MEDDIC-based process to create active sellers. And then we're going to use AI to optimize that. And so we're going to show people a complete process there as we walk through. And then the second session that we get into, we're going to get into the weeds, where we're going to take the foundational principles that we learned in the first session, and we're going to start applying this into a methodology we have called connected probability scoring, where we're scoring the solution strength, partner impact, seller impact, ICP scores, relationship scores, and the corresponding strategies that wrap around that. We're going to go into territory management. We're going to teach people how to plan territories, how to effectively predict revenue based on this. So we've got a lot to cover in a very short period of time. We're also going to teach people how to build effective sales playbooks, how to leverage AI to do that. So we've got a lot to cover, but I think that essentially what this is all about is, we're going to teach people how to produce revenue out of partners. That's really what it's going to come down to.
Absolutely. Those are going to be 2 very, very meaty and exciting sessions. And Marc Palombo, you're going to come on and you're going to help us basically operationalize all the stuff that we've spoken about in the previous couple of sessions. So give us a peek into what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah, sure. I like to think that everything that Rebecca and Craig is talking about really gets you from the ecosystem to the operations, the KPIs, all these things. And I look at what I'm covering really as practical applications. So once you actually get in the trenches, as the old joke goes, no plan survives 5 minutes with the enemy. So it's about being able to take the initial plan, make adjustments, and kind of rinse and repeat what's working, what's not working over time, double down on things that are working, get rid of things that are not working. Every partner ecosystem is different. I've run things for ERP channels, fintech, legal tech, ed tech, and every buyer persona and ideal partner profile, which we'll cover as well, is different. So you may be in a mature program. You may say, hey, we have 1,000 partners, but honestly, 50% don't really fit the ideal partner profile. Why are they partners? Right? You may question yourself, or you may be starting from scratch. You're a scale up or a startup, which is typically companies that I work with, and you're trying to build that program from scratch. Who are the right people you want to talk to? And I talked about executive buying, because all the things that Craig and Rebecca cover, if you don't have either the chief revenue officer, the CEO, the VP of sales, whatever that role happens to be, high enough up the food chain to say, hey, we need to treat your company as a strategic partner, and we're going to do these things, it just kind of falls on deaf ears. And then that leads into one of my favorite things, which is the partner business plan, right? Do you have partner business plans for all of your partners that talk about all these deliverables and KPIs? What are you being measured on? What does success look like from 12 months? The only thing I would add to what Rebecca said about treating your partners as customers, I tend to treat my partners as an extension of my sales team, my marketing team, my services team. And to that end, imagine if you hired a salesperson and you said, hey, Fred, your quota is $1 million. Go sell, and I'll see you in a year. Right. And that's unfortunately what we do. We sign up a partner, we give them a quota, we don't talk to them for a year, and we say, you didn't hit your numbers. We're going to demote you now. We're going to fire you from the program. It's just silly. So what are the processes? Are you going to do target account mapping? Are you going to do monthly pipeline calls? You're going to have quarterly business reviews, again, with executive leadership to understand if sales is doing what they need to be doing, marketing is doing what they're doing, and service is doing what they're doing from a delivery perspective. All those, what I call the three-legged stool, all those pieces of the stool working, because if one leg of the stool breaks, the stool falls over. So these are, again, the practical application of things that I'll be covering. And at the end of the day, it's really about how do we create a win-win, right? You always hear about better together stories. You want to be sure that both you and the partner are aligned, that you're working together, and you're on the same team, driving towards building each other's company's revenues. Again, dovetailing on Craig's point about those active sellers, because they're the ones, I hate to say they're coin operated, but we're all coin operated. We're trying to drive business and revenue. We want this to be successful, and that's why successful partner strategies work so well.
Very good. And then session 5, we're going to be getting deep into the operations at the partner. We're going to be talking to executives on what drives them, what drives their revenue models, what optimization they're looking for. And then in session 6, we're going to bring it all together with, final questions, ways to work together, ways to implement the programs and the lessons that we just learned from. So it's very, very exciting if you're interested. And by the way, after just listening to Rebecca, Craig, and Marc, if you're a partner account manager and you ain't interested in this, you're going to be halting your career. I can tell you that right now. Our whole mission at the IEPS, Institute for Effective Professional Selling, is to help companies engage with customers and their sales professionals. And Rebecca, you and I talked about this before. I view the channel professional as sales. It's all sales. We're all working on the same thing, bringing in revenue to our company, helping them elevate their leaders, and helping them, of course, empower revenue success. Go to theiEPS.com. theiEPS.com. You'll find the link on how to register. We're going to be starting the session on September 11th. It will sell out. So if you're listening to this podcast now, if you have any questions, reach out to me, Fred Diamond, or any of the faculty members will answer them for you, and we'll get you to participate. All right, Rebecca, Craig, and Marc, I'm excited to have you on this next endeavor with the IEPS. And for all the listeners today, I'm excited for you, for your investment in taking your career to the next level. My name is Fred Diamond. This is the Sales Game Changers podcast.